May 1945. The war in Europe is over, but somewhere beneath the black water of the North Atlantic, not everyone got the message. Or if they did, not everyone obeyed it. For 12 years, the U-boat had been the most feared weapon in the world, a steel coffin that could turn the ocean into a hunting ground. Now Grand Admiral Karl Tunitz, the architect of Germany's wolf packs, man Hitler himself named as his successor, was giving an order no U-boat captain ever wanted to hear. Surface, surrender, come home. Most obeyed. Dozens of U-boats limped into Allied ports, their crews gaunt, defeated, staring blankly at the warships that had hunted them for years. The Allies would later scuttle over 100 of these vessels in a single operation, a mass grave of steel at the bottom of the sea, codenamed Operation Deadlight. But not all of them came home. And what happened to the ones that didn't is where this story truly begins. What would you do if you were a U-boat commander given an order to surrender, but you didn't trust the men giving it? Rewind. March 1945. Germany is collapsing from the inside. Allied bombers turn cities to rubble by day. Soviet artillery creeps closer to Berlin by night, but far from the capital, in the icy fjords of occupied Norway, the U-boat fleet still waits, fueled, armed and disciplined, almost untouched by the chaos consuming the Reich. These were not ordinary submarines. By this stage of the war, Germany had developed the Type 21, a revolutionary U-boat so advanced it could travel faster underwater than most surface ships, staying submerged for days, using a snorkel system that let it breathe without surfacing. It was, in essence, the blueprint for every modern submarine that followed, and it arrived 4 years too late to save the war, but perhaps not too late to save something else. Some of these vessels never engaged in a single battle. They existed only for one purpose, to survive whatever came next. Two of them, U-530 and U-977, would become the center of one of the strangest naval mysteries of the 20th century. What were these two boats really doing, and why did their journey take months rather than days? When the surrender order came, both submarines did something unexpected. Instead of turning toward Allied ports in Europe, they turned south. Not for days, for weeks. U-977, commanded by a young officer named Heinz Schäfer, would spend 66 days submerged, snorkeling by night, running silent by day, crossing thousands of miles of open ocean without a single stop in a friendly port, because there were none left. Their destination, Argentina. When U-530 surfaced in the River Plate estuary on July 10, 1945, Argentine authorities were stunned. A German U-boat, fully armed, arriving nearly 2 months after Germany's surrender. Its crew was searched, interrogated for days. Rumors exploded almost instantly. Had they smuggled gold? Documents? Was this the vessel that carried something, or someone, out of the collapsing Reich? Weeks later, U-977 surfaced in the same waters. Its crew told investigators a simple story. They simply didn't trust that the war was truly over, and feared Soviet capture more than anything else. No secret passengers. No hidden treasure. Just 18 men who had spent over 2 months in a steel tube, refusing to believe the fight had ended. Officially, that is where the story ends. Interrogators from the US, UK, and Argentina combed through both vessels and found nothing beyond standard equipment. No hidden compartments packed with looted gold. No secret cargo bay built for a fleeing dictator. But officially is a word historians choose carefully, because in the chaos of 1945, official records were often incomplete, destroyed, or simply never written at all. But these two boats were not the only ones that vanished, and not every story ended with a peaceful surrender in a South American harbor. Naval records from the final weeks of the war reveal a chilling detail. Several U-boats simply stopped transmitting, not sunk, not confirmed destroyed, simply gone. Some were later found scuttled by their own crews rather than surrendered, their captains choosing to send their vessels to the ocean floor rather than hand them to the enemy. Others were never found at all, their fate reduced to a single line in a logbook. Last known position, last known heading, no further contact. For decades after the war,
Rumors would swirl in taverns from Buenos Aires to Bariloche. Whispers of a Nazi submarine base hidden somewhere in Antarctica, of secret bunkers built to shelter high command until the world forgot. Historians have thoroughly investigated these claims. No credible evidence has ever supported an Antarctic Nazi base, but the legend persists because the ocean itself gave the story room to breathe. A U-boat that vanishes leaves no wreckage to disprove the myth. It leaves only silence. And silence to the human imagination is an invitation. What we do know, stripped of legend, is dramatic enough on its own. At the exact moment their nation collapsed, a handful of U-boat crews chose to spend 2 more months at war with the ocean itself, rather than face what waited on land. Do you think these crews were fleeing justice, or simply fleeing fear? Let us know what you believe below. When Heinz Schäfer finally brought U-977 to the surface after 66 days submerged, his men blinked into daylight for the first time in over 2 months. Their skin was pale, their eyes struggled against the sun. They had crossed an ocean not to fight, but simply to disappear. Argentine officials swarmed the vessel. Investigators from 3 nations demanded answers. Schäfer would spend years afterward defending his crew against accusations that refused to die. That they had smuggled Martin Bormann, or Reich treasure, or worse. He always denied it. And no evidence ever proved otherwise. But the questions never fully died, because for every U-boat that surfaced and told its story, there were others that never surfaced at all. Of the roughly 1,150 U-boats built during the war, over 780 were lost. The vast majority sunk not in the final chaotic weeks, but throughout years of relentless grinding warfare beneath the waves, a campaign that claimed nearly 30,000 German submariners, one of the highest casualty rates of any branch of any military in the war. The ones that vanished in the final days weren't spies or smugglers in most confirmed cases. They were young men making a desperate human choice. Keep running, keep hiding, keep believing the war wasn't truly over because the alternative was too terrifying to face. And yet the legend endures. Of a ghost fleet that slipped past history's grasp, hulls full of secrets the ocean will never give back. Somewhere in the cold dark of the South Atlantic, the wrecks of U-boats that never surrendered still rest on the seafloor. No flag, no orders, no war left to fight, just silence. If you had been a U-boat commander in April 1945, would you have surfaced and surrendered, or vanished into the dark like they did? Tell us below.